I don't have any makeup on. I look terrible. Okay, so we're still with Mom and Dad here. We're doing our retrospective. We'll start with Mom first. Mom,
Yes,
Nina,
yes.
state your full name.
My full my social security
Your full
number.
name.
My full name is Nina Alba Ann Francese.
Nina Alba. Alba came from what?
My mother's sister.
Your mother's sister.
That would have been my aunt on my mother's side.
Okay. No confirmation, graduation, confirmation, baptism name is what?
No, I was christened Nina Alba.
Nina Alba, you were christened.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then Ann is a confirmation.
And Ann's the confirmation name. Okay. And you grew up where?
I grew up in Manhattan.
Your whole life?
Yeah, on 64th Street and 10th Avenue, where now is the Opera House. Is
64th and 10, the Met.
yeah.
That's what the Met is. You were right across the street from the Met.
Well, what are you calling the Met?
No, what's 64th? What's there now, you're saying?
The I can't think
The
of the name
Opera
of it.
House.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. What's there now, John?
What's on 64th and 10th? The Met. Okay, so you grew up there with who?
Oh, what do you mean? With my family?
Yeah, Grandma Laura.
Grandma Laura, Grandpa Dominic, and my sister Marie, and my brother Mike.
Okay, you all lived in, it was an apartment?
Yeah, it was actually was a tenement. In those days, there were tenements down over there.
Okay. You had, how many rooms there?
4.
You had 4 rooms. So you slept, you and Aunt Marie shared a room?
No.
No?
No, it was a very. We had a kitchen, a dining room, then my mother and father's room, and then the 3 of us were in the other bedroom. But we all had like separate beds.
Okay.
But that's the way it was in those days. We were poor. We were poor.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
But
so-
you were born there. So you were born in what hospital there? You remember?
No.
No. Okay, but you were born in Manhattan, lived in Manhattan. your whole-
Everything Manhattan. Went
Okay.
educated in Manhattan, everything.
Okay, and you went to the PS, whatever there, and
No,
then
no. I went to St. Paul the Apostle,
St. Paul the Apostle.
which church still stands. The school is no longer there, but the church is there.
Okay.
Now now that neighborhood is so ritzy, you couldn't afford one room. You couldn't afford to stay in one room there with the rents
Right.
what they are.
Now
Yeah,
Madonna is there.
probably.
Yeah,
Who else?
Madonna lives there now. Okay, so you all the way up till from what you can remember. You have any? What's fondest memories of those years from when you were a little girl?
Oh, well, we had I had friends, and Ann Bartel was one of them. She's now Ann McCucci, and we're still friends. And then we had 2 other. Well, once the family started moving out of there, then you lost your contacts. Or also when we went to high school, I went to Cathedral, and I had to take the subway down to Christopher Street. So Ann and I did that. And then the other Arlene and Alice, they didn't go to that school. They went to something else. So then we all started moving because the neighborhood was getting, they wanted to tear down those houses, and they wanted to build what's there now. So anyway,
Okay. So it was Manhattan, and Grandma Laura stayed home and took care of the kids, and
Yeah.
and Grandpa was
Grandpa
what, bricklayer?
worked. No, Grandpa was a construction
Was a
worker.
construction
He was
guy.
a foreman in construction. And then my brother Mike got married, and then they decided that they bought a house out in New Jersey because my brother, when he got married, he wanted to live in Jersey because all his work was in Jersey. He was a bricklayer.
Okay.
So he didn't want the commute to and back from New York City to. So when he got married, they definitely went to live in New Jersey.
So when they got married,
Yeah.
we'll cut it off there because we're
Yeah.
going to find out about
Yeah.
Dad
Yeah.
and
Okay.
what happened to him.
Yeah.
Right, Papa John? So what happened? Tell us. You grew up where?
In the Bronx.
Your whole life. You were born in the Bronx.
I was born Howard Beach. I was born.
Howard Beach. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
All right.
And went to the Bronx. That was it. So
Kindergarten all the way to 8th grade?
yeah, yep.
And you went to what? Arthur Avenue, right?
Arthur Avenue.
Okay.
And
And who was home? Grandma Lena?
my
And
father.
your father?
Yeah.
And what did your
my-
father do?
He was he worked as a plasterer. used to plaster ceilings and so forth. You know.
Okay. So that kept him. That
Yeah.
he did that. Grandma Lena was home, and you
He
had
did.
everybody home. Where'd you live? You had everybody.
Yeah, I had my brother Jim,
Right.
my sister Rose,
Right.
my other sister Lorraine,
Right.
my other sister Marie.
It's not you didn't giving it in order though.
No,
You were the youngest.
no, we had one of my sisters died when she was about 14.
Right. Okay.
So
But Aunt Lorraine is the youngest.
yeah,
Right. And the oldest was Aunt Rose.
Rose, right?
Okay. Okay. All right. So from the Bronx, and what went on those years?
Oh, it was just survival, you know.
Survival. Play ball.
Yeah, kept yourself busy, you know. It
Okay.
was in those days you just had to keep yourself busy.
Went outside and you
Don't get
sold
yourself-
paper bags.
Don't get any trouble. Keep yourself out of trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's so then we got up to what then? How did we meet? How did you meet Dad?
Oh, we met Dad because of I was friends with Peggy Tracy. Ann and I and Peggy were very good friends. And then Peggy met Frank Adiego, who lived in the Bronx near Johnny. And we were all in the wedding party, except John wasn't in the wedding party. But I was for Ann in the wedding party. And I said that we were bridesmaids, right? Okay. So that's how I met your father, because we were at after the wedding, it was customary for the wedding party to go out.
Right.
And then he came along. He wasn't in the wedding party, but he came along. And then that's how I met him.
Okay. So that's how you. And what did they say? They wanted you to meet this girl Nina.
No, Johnny and I, after we walked in on two girls, Nina and her girlfriend, and I said, which one you want to get?
Oh my God.
So I said, I'll take the one on the left. You take the one on the right. Yeah. So it turned
See,
out that
if you were on the left, it would have been a whole different story.
the,
But back then, Mom was like Elizabeth Taylor. She looked like, right? No.
no, Peggy Tracy was.
Well, you see those pictures of you, little Elizabeth Taylor there. No.
That was kind of like the style, but no, Peggy really looked like Taylor. She was
Peggy was
beautiful.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, she was beautiful, beautiful.
Okay, so basically it came down to Mom was on the left.
Yeah.
If she was on the right, you would have been with Peggy.
It could have been right there. The destiny was.
Peggy married Frank. Ann and I were bridesmaids.
And it were bridesmaids.
Okay. All right. All right. So then, what? You started dating?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was like dating like back then? You.
Oh,
what,
she lived
ice
in Long
skating?
Island. She lived in Long Island. So for me to go out there was like an hour and a half, you know, and I wasn't too happy with that situation.
Well, you didn't have a car?
I had a car, but it was an old car, you know. And I remember one year I came back. It was ice. The roads were so icy. It took me 4 hours to come out back home. I was
From
slipping.
Long Island.
Yeah.
I had lived with my sister for a while. When my mother and father then moved to Jersey. I mean, I was 21, 22 then. And I lived with my sister in Long Island.
Where on Long Island?
In Island Park,
Oh, right. Okay. So you lived in Island
which is near, I can't think of, Long Beach.
Long Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you used to go out there and you almost.
My little car. I had my $50 car, you know.
What did you do? Take it to Ebbets Field? Where did you go?
No, we used to pick her up. We used to go down to the Manhattan and park the car and go see some of the plays that were there, you know.
Go see the plays, right?
Yeah, so we had a pretty good time. Times were very good,
Okay.
and we kept ourselves pretty busy, you know. We did a lot of things together.
So how much was a date back then? If you took Mom down to Manhattan, play.
Well, we used
Would
to
you
go
go
to
get cheesecake?
Central Park. We used to walk to Central Park. That was a big thing
You used to spend what, $2,
because
$3?
she wasn't too far from Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the whole day was like just walking around the city, you know. It was interesting.
Yeah.
We went to the movies as far as that goes. And we double dated a lot. Like we went out with Ann and Johnny and Peggy and Frank, you know. Places that, you know, we go to.
Movies, plays, ice skating.
Not so
and
much plays, mostly.
Coffee at Horn and Ardich.
Yeah, yeah, it was mostly movies, not plays so much. You know, we weren't into that crowd. We were just, movies. We were
But it was a
regular
different
people.
time then.
We went to the Loewy's Paradise. There was a big theater house up in the Bronx there. The Cat's Meow, Loewy's Paradise. That's all we did.
So you dated for how long then?
Well, I guess about a year, and then we got engaged for a year,
You got engaged.
and then we got married.
Okay. How did you get engaged?
Yeah, well,
you remember?
yeah, I remember. I think. Do you remember anything?
Who remembers? Anybody?
Yeah, I remember.
I said.
Cracker Jack box? What did you do?
It was the year that I think the woman had to propose to the man. You know?
What?
Yeah. So I said, you.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
This was your way of getting bailing out of this thing? What?
John, it was different then. It wasn't a big surprise. Oh, I'm gonna sneak a ring, and it didn't go that way.
You
We're
just
like,
knew it was going to happen.
yeah, right. We
He
decided.
came out one night, he was wearing a tie, and then you knew that was
No,
going to be...
no. It was just I don't remember exactly when I got the ring, but I knew I was going to get it. Probably was Valentine's Day or something like that. I don't, but we knew it. Like we had planned it. It wasn't a big shock.
Very, very romantic, huh?
Yeah.
How many paper bags did you have to sell for that ring?
Well, Nina was a very practical person, so I didn't have to do anything. It was easy to get along with her.
You could have baked her a cake. It would have
Could
been
anything. She was a gift from God.
Okay. All right, so then you got engaged, and it was, everybody was happy?
Yeah,
Okay, and then you had to plan the whole wedding?
yeah.
Who planned the whole wedding?
I
You-
guess I did.
You did.
Well, in those days, the bride did anyway. The men didn't get involved. It was the bride and the bride's family. But no, I pretty much did plan it. We had a mass in St. Paul the Apostle, because that was my parish, and then we had a nice chicken dinner. That's what the thing was, chicken dinner over in.
Winner, chicken dinner type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did you decide on September? It was
I don't know really.
It was just the open date for the church?
No. I guess it was we figured that would been a good time, I guess.
Okay.
I suppose in those days you thought about, well, do you want to go and do it in the summer, the spring, the fall? It was like up to the season that you decided.
Okay.
So we liked the fall. So
that was all set. And then your bridesmaids were going to be, of course.
my bridesmaids were Ellen and Marie D'Amiglio, because at that time, Peggy and Ann were both pregnant with their first children, so they couldn't be bridesmaids. So the other two friends was Ellen and Marie D'Amiglio.
Okay, and at the time, Uncle Mike was already married?
He was going with my Dolores at that time, yeah. So the funny thing was that in the same year, 1957, my brother got married in February, and John's sister Marie got married in July, and we got married in September. So
Okay.
it was a busy year for the family.
Oh, so it was Aunt Marie that got married. Aunt Rosie got married first, or Aunt Marie?
Aunt Rosie
Aunt Rosie was first, because she
was
the
married,
oldest,
yeah.
Okay. And that
Yeah,
was
the
your
family grew, and it was basically put together by my mother. Was very instrumental in keeping us all together. She would always make sure that we got together. And I can always remember that.
She liked Mom. Grandma Lena.
Oh.
Grandma Lena. She liked Mom, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever have to go over there? Grandma Laura ever go over there to had to meet the in-laws and everything? Did you have that?
Yeah.
have that?
Yeah.
Okay. It was very traditional.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. As long as everybody liked each other, it was okay?
It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so then it was the big wedding then was September 7th, 1957. 7. September 14th, 1957.
Janina.
Not 14th, September 7th.
September 7th, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you were all
Yeah.
ready, and who was in your wedding party? Who were your guys
My
then?
brother.
Uncle Jimmy,
Makuchi.
right? Johnny McCucci,
My brother Jimmy. Frank.
Frank,
No, Frank was in.
Sid,
Vinny.
Vinny Petricca?
Yeah, Vinny Petricca.
There was 4 of you?
No. He had Vinny Petricca, he had his cousin Sonny, and he had his brother.
Okay.
His brother, Sonny was his best man. Not his brother. John, what, right?
Sonny was your best man.
Sonny, right.
Sonny and your brother Jimmy and Vinny.
And Vinny.
Okay, 3 of you. Okay.
So that was and we grew up together. We were kids together, you know, so it was easy to choose them.
So the big day, were you nervous? You were all ready?
Guess so.
You guess so? You don't remember?
No, I don't.
You got up and
Well, you did what you had to do, and you got there. And
everything was close, right? So you
yeah, well, we went from the church. You could walk to the restaurant,
Right.
and it was an afternoon wedding, so because we had like a 11 o'clock mass, and then it was a luncheon. It was really a luncheon, and it was a White's restaurant, which was supposedly a really nice restaurant on 57th Street, right off 9th Avenue. That was a good neighborhood at the time, a really good neighborhood.
And everybody came? How many people?
Oh, we had, I guess we had about 250.
250.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For back then.
yeah.
But back then you invited everybody was invited. It wasn't.
Well, you know what it was? You had to invite these cousins on the father's side and these cousins on the mother's side and all
Everybody
that.
got
Yeah,
invited. And it
yeah.
wasn't a big deal back then. You had chicken dinner.
Yeah,
Everybody got it.
yeah, but just prior to that, most of them had the weddings with what they called the football weddings. With
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to a few of those. I told the sandwich, "What do you got?" "Oh, I got bologna here. I got salami." Yeah, that was fading out. People were getting more cultured, I guess you might say, and they were having these sit-down dinners. Is what they were doing. Yeah.
Okay, so the wedding, everything was great, and no problems, no hitches.
Yeah, no problems. And then we
Everybody
went.
showed up. You showed up on time then?
No
Were
problem.
you late?
No,
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 you were on
no. Everything worked out good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So after the wedding, what did you guys do? What was your game plan? You moved where? What did you do?
Wedding, we went to.
You had an apartment ready?
We took my sister had an apartment in the Bronx, and she left, and we moved into her apartment
Where was that in the Bronx?
in the Bronx on 88th Street,
188th Street.
Hoffman Avenue,
Mm.
Hoffman. So that was
Wow, you
the
can't go
start.
there now.
That was the start of it. Yeah,
Okay, so you moved right into your little apartment there,
Yeah,
188th
yeah.
Street, 1957.
yeah.
Okay. And you just did all the family things back then, and everybody got together.
Yeah.
So who was left that wasn't married now? Who
Well,
was left? Well,
Lorraine.
Lorraine was a kid. Right? Lorraine was a teenager.
Lorraine, yeah.
So it was Lorraine, Uncle Tony was married.
Marie.
Uncle Mike was married.
Marie was.
Right. Yeah. Right. And yeah, most of just Lorraine. I think really just Lorraine was left.
And Uncle Mike was married. And where was Tony, your brother?
Oh, he was floating around.
He was floating around.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't talk about it.
Okay. All right, talk about it. We're not talking about you, Tony. Okay, so 1957 goes by.
Yeah, and then Johnny was born 1958.
1958, June 5th, 1958.
Yeah.
You remember that day?
Yeah, definitely.
What hospital?
It was in Lawrence. Was it Lawrence? Huh?
It was over in Yonkers.
In Yonkers, yeah, that's right.
Yonkers.
General? Yonkers General?
Yonk-
Or Yonkers Professional, one of the two.
Okay.
There were two hospitals there then, those two, and I think it was Professional. It was a small little hospital.
Okay. It was the closest?
No, that's where the doctor
Oh, so no matter
operated.
what.
Yeah, because we still lived, well, at that time, we were living in, in 188th Street. We were living in.
Yeah, so you had to go, well,
yeah.
it wasn't too, yeah, it wasn't too, to get to your
No,
office.
no, it wasn't at the time.
yeah,
That was no
that
big
wasn't
deal.
too bad.
No, it wasn't too big.
Okay. All right, so Johnny was born June 5th, 1957.
Right.
And he was named what? 1958, sorry.
58. Johnny.
John
Albert. Albert, after my father's name.
Albert after your father. Okay. And his godfather was who?
Who was his godfather? Sonny, my cousin Sonny, yeah.
Was your best friend
But, yeah.
and your sister?
Yeah, the family was starting to build up, you know. It
Okay,
was,
so you remember that the day Johnny was born?
yeah, yeah. It was very, you know. In fact, I think we were going out to the cities. We got stuck on the bridge, and she was pregnant, you know. We were going over the bridge, and you were pregnant, and the carburetor went on us. And it was a terrible time we had, you know. Like I said, my God. Yeah, before he was born.
The carburetor went? Okay.
I don't
You
remember
remember
that.
you were pregnant. Well, how would you know?
I
You
don't.
know.
I don't remember that incident. I don't remember that incident at all. Well, I'm very good at forgetting things that were not good. Like they never happened. I don't know
You
why.
erased them, all the things.
Yeah,
you-
I
okay.
erase. You know, I'm just finding that out recently when some certain things are brought to my attention, and I say I have no recollection of that at all.
Oh, all right, that's okay.
I think we have to stop because I think we have to.
We want to stop and then we
Yeah.
can continue? While you want to have some coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, we